So today's cancellation is something of a layup, I suppose. Here's just a thing that's begging to be canceled. Seth Rogan and Sarah Silverman are starring in an animated Christmas-themed miniseries called Santa Inc., which was just released today on HBO Max. I will play some of the preview for you, but you probably don't need to see it because all you have to do is imagine in your head what a woke, animated, R-rated Christmas show starring Seth Rogan and Sarah Silverman might look and sound like. And what you're imagining in your head is exactly what HBO has provided us. Now that you've already imagined it and I play it, it'll feel a little bit like deja vu, I suppose, but here it is.
When you're a kid, there's only one day a year more special than any other day, and that day is Christmas. And we are the magic behind that day. So let's get these fucking kids some fucking presents.
Bravo! May I present the hardest working man in snowbiz? Good golly, he's jolly. Our own Santa Claus!
Hey, Merry Christmas. Whoa, you're on my naughty list.
Good news, sir. More American kids believe in you than they do in vaccines or the Holocaust.
That's great. I mean, disheartening for America, but great for us.
I'm here from the North Pole Times. Have you decided who will succeed you as Santa Claus?
Subtext, Santa's old and knocking on death's door. You. Good question. I'll give it some serious thought. Ha ho ho ho. Bye.
There have been many Santa Clauses throughout history. Some were loved, others loathed. But the position of Santa has mostly been a white man's game.
Exactly. It's fucking crazy. Things have got to change.
My advice to you is, if I die, get rid of my porn!
I want to be the next Santa.
If this is your dream, you have to at least make your case.
You gotta get intimate with that jolly bitch.
That was, without exaggeration, one of the worst previews I've ever seen in my life for anything, ever. And I didn't even play the worst parts because there's another 45 seconds or so where we learn more about how Santa is bad because he's white and male. And what we really need is a non-white, non-male Santa. Also a non-Christian Santa, it would seem. It probably didn't escape your notice that the lead actors in this Christmas show are not Christian. Now, that wouldn't be a problem, except that the show is making fun of Christmas and was obviously produced by people who have real animosity towards Christmas traditions. One can only imagine the response if Christian actors start in a film making fun of Islamic customs, for example. In fact, even if Christian actors start in a film paying tribute to Islam and saying nice things about it, it would still be considered offensive and appropriative. And yet non-Christian actors can star in films mocking Christmas, and that's perfectly acceptable. But that's far from the worst part of it. This has been a big week for me personally. I've added a number of important titles onto my name, including best-selling children's author, but the other one is Lord. So I'm really Lord best-selling children's author Matt Walsh now. I am officially a Lord through Established Titles. Established Titles is your opportunity to earn the title of Lord or Lady and gain the respect that you so desperately deserve. All you need is 1 square foot plot of land in Scotland. That's all it takes. So it's a little bit of a loophole we're exploiting here, and I love it. Established Titles is a project based on a historic Scottish custom where landowners are referred to as lairds, or lords and ladies in English. In your title pack, you'll receive at least 1 square foot of dedicated land on a private estate and an official certificate with a crest. Your certificate will include a unique plot number with which you can see the exact location of your land. If you're ever in Scotland, you can go out and check it out as well. With this certificate, you could officially change your name to Lord or Lady and get it on your credit card, your plane tickets, etc. Established Titles is having a great limited time sale, so go to establishedtitles.com/Matt Walsh to save 10% off today. And remember to use the discount code Matt Walsh or just click the link below. That's establishedtitles.com/Matt Walsh or click the link below. What we really see is why and how comedy has died in our country. Now, I personally can forgive almost any sin that comedy commits as long as it's still funny. That's my position. The job of comedy is to be funny, after all. And so I'm somewhat of a Machiavellian ends justify the means type when it comes to comedy. As long as you're making me laugh, I'm not all that worried about how you do it because I figure that's the job here. That's what you're supposed to be doing. Just make your comedy funny, and that's all I ask. We'll sort the other details out later. And yet this fundamental requirement is too onerous for most comedies these days. In this show, it seems that most of the laughs are supposed to come from the fact that the characters are cursing. The show is very impressed with its own vulgarity. So it's vulgar just for the sake of being vulgar. The very first punchline is that an elf says the F word. That's like the only punchline in the whole preview, is that all the characters, they're cussing in their cartoons. And they go back to that well time and again. Look, an elf is cussing. Look, now Santa is cussing. Look, now a reindeer is cussing. Just wait till you hear the first, you hear Frosty the Snowman. He's going to cuss too. It's lazy and it's boring and it's childish. Comedies these days are often lazy, boring, and childish. Also, we have the woke factor, of course. And woke isn't funny because, for one thing, there's nothing amusing about being preached at. In a certain context, it might be kind of funny to watch a feminist screech about the patriarchy or whatever. I mean, I was amused by the feminists protesting my event last night and screeching at me. But that's not the kind of amusement you want to derive from a comedy. And most importantly, on top of being irritating and self-righteous and fundamentally humorous, woke also represents the mainstream position, the position held by the powerful and the elite. Comedy, especially a vulgar R-rated comedy, should be transgressive and edgy. It should challenge the mainstream perspective. It should desecrate the sacred cows. Comedy, when it performs this task, is actually playing an important role in society, I think. But most comedy today is propaganda on behalf of the elites, of the ruling class. That's why when I watch SNL for like the 90 seconds I can stomach it every 6 months or so, I get the sense that I'm watching like sketch comedy in North Korea or something. It's probably very similar there. Propaganda with bad punchlines and forced laughter. And finally, this show, like so much comedy today, isn't funny because it's too angry to be funny. It's resentful. It's perfectly possible to make a Christmas comedy that pokes fun at Christmas traditions and also manages to be very funny. Many such comedies exist. A Christmas Story is an all-time classic in that genre. But that requires you to have some kind of understanding of and affection for the thing that you're lampooning. If you hate it, then all you'll end up making is a disgruntled diatribe, not a comedy. And that's what this is. And that's why everybody associated with this crime against comedy and against humanity is, of course, today canceled. And those of you who have not gone to dailywire.com and, or rather, johnnythewalrus.com, it's the quickest way to get there. Those of you who have not gone to johnnythewalrus.com and purchased a book, Johnny the Walrus, you are also canceled. Hey, listen, hit the subscribe button. Do it right now. I demand it. And I thank you for your compliance. It is somewhat appreciated.